Hi everybody, it's Anne from Anne's Stampin' Up. Another quick video for you today. This one is called a spinning star card, and basically you tip the card and it spins and it goes to the other end. Quite simple to make. I am using the Tidings and Trimmings stamp set from the new annual catalogue, and the Tidings and Trimmings dies, which are actually called Christmas trimmings. I'm using paper from DSP from the Tidings and Trimmings set. It's a lovely pack of paper. I think you get 6 different patterns and you get 8 6x6 pieces of each pattern. So let's get started. And this is what we have to make this card. We have Soft Succulent, which is one of the new Stampin' Up! In colours. We have 8.5 by 5.5. It's going to be scored at 4 1/4, and it's going to be a top fold card. So let me just score that. Yep, that looks good. We're going to use some Evening Evergreen ink, which is another one of the new in colours. That's a beautiful dark green, very Christmassy, winter Christmassy ink. It's lovely. And we're going to stamp the sentiment with that on the bottom of the card. Season's Greetings. We're going to stamp it across the bottom of the card in a zigzag pattern. So I'm going to start in the middle of the card because I want it to line up both ways. And I'm going to stamp it quite close to the edge. It's easier to turn the card than it is the stamp. There. That's all we're going to do, stamping on the front of that card. We're going to take the 5 1/4 by 4 piece of Whisper White, and bearing in mind this card's going to sit landscape, we need to stamp the sentiment landscape. So what we have is a stamp that says, "It's the most wonderful time of the year." I'm just going to line my card up, stamp that in the middle. Just set this to one side for a minute. We're going to take, we have a piece of DSP Designer Series paper, and it's 5 1/4 by 3 inches. And we have a piece of Whisper White, which is 5 1/4 by 3 inches. We're going to glue the two of them together. And I want to make sure it's glued right down the center as well. And I need my little silicone mat here, just in case any glue comes off the edge. There, so we have that. We have the card. We're going to take the card itself, and we have a 1 inch by 5 1/4 inch piece of DSP, and we're going to put it just slightly higher than center. Okay, and we're going to glue this down again using liquid glue, because when you add here paper to cardstock, liquid glue is the best, because you got a little bit of wiggle room. You can slide it around if you have to. So the card is 5 1/2, this is 5 1/4, so you're going to have about 1/8 of an inch at each side. And I'm going to go just like that. We're going to take this piece now, and we have a punch. It's an old punch, and it's called a classic label punch. There's also a punch very like this that has rounded edges here. Either one will do. They're both about the same width that you punch out. And what we're going to do, we're going to take the 5 1/4 by 3 piece, and we want to leave about 1/2 inch at each short end. So we're going to put this in like this, and 1/2 inch will give you really just about, if you line your cardstock up with the very edge of your punch, now I know it's hard to do when you can't see, but if you line it up with the edge of your punch and put your paper all the way into your punch and punch that out, you're going to keep your card the same way and you're going to move it along a little bit. You can show your cards all the way in, punch that piece out, and then you want to put your card in again, keeping it the same way, line it right up to the very edge of your punch, punch it one last time. So there we have this piece punched out. You've got a channel going right along the middle there. What we're going to do next is we're going to put this on here like this. We're going to use some two-sided foam tape. That's what we're going to use. And foam tape, because it will give it a lift, it will work like dimensionals to lift this up off the card. Alright, so we have here some, it isn't, I think it's 3/8 of an inch. It's wider than a quarter, but it's not a half. Alright, and I'm going to put it right along the edge of the card here. Oops, don't have scissors. Excuse me. And right along this edge. There. Now I'm also going to put another piece here and here tucked up against this piece, but I've got to keep the channel clear. So now we're going to put another piece of tape, and I'm just going to sort of pop it in the center. It's not going to be the full length again, but just put it right up against. Let me see if I can do it this way. Put it up close to there, close to here. There. Now what you've got here is you've got good strong support for your card, but you've got no support here and here. So what I'm going to do is put a dimensional, put 4 dimensionals, one there, making sure they're not hanging off the side of the card, but also that they're not impeding the channel here as well. Alright, so we're just going to set that down for a second. We've got 2 pennies here. Now you can use pennies, you can use dimes. Dimes are thinner and smaller. You could use 2 washers if that's all you've got. And we're going to put a dimensional in the center of 1 penny. Peel the back off and put the other penny right on top. Just like that. Okay, so what we've got here is a sandwich of 2 pennies and 1 dimensional. And we're going to put it, we want to make sure we do this before we stick this down to the card so that we can test it. We're going to put it like that and bend your card slightly there. Now the penny has to be able to roll back and forwards, and sometimes it just takes a couple of turns till you get rid of the sticky on the side of the dimension. So now what we're going to do, we're going to take this and we're going to put it over here like this, and we have this piece in the center so that it hides the channel we cut out, and you can line this up so that you're at the top of the channel, and you see how nicely my words lined up. Take off the dimensionals and the tapes. So we've got the card lined up. I think that's good. So let's just pop that to one side. What we have next, we're going to use the mini stamp and emboss machine, and we're going to cut out a star, and we're going to cut out a background for this star. So you bring that up here, these down. These out of my, oops, out of my way. And because we're using the mini emboss, we use the mini plates, and we're using dies. So we've got board number 1 and 2 of board number 2. And as always, stagger these when you're putting them into your machine. And when I say stagger, I mean have them go in like this. So you've got about a quarter inch, and then the top one, because it's easier for the machine to roll over this if you do it carefully like that. I've got a 3-inch square of soft succulent, and I've got the solid die, the solid star die to cut out. And if it moves around, tape it down with a piece of washi tape somewhere so it can't go very far. Then I've got a piece of silver foil. I'm using silver foil for this one. Same again, if you need to, put it down carefully and hold it with washi tape. Put your top board on the top. Remember to stagger it. And start it off, and away you go. Now I'm going to roll this through twice because I really want it to punch out as many of the little pieces as I can get out, just to save time. So carefully peel the washi tape off. There's my big one, and here is my foil star. So now I need my pokey tool, and then we're just going to pop these little pieces out that didn't come out quite cleanly. There it goes. There, so we've got a nice clean star. Yeah, and we've got no little pieces stuck to the back of it. Let me just get all of that out of the way. Bring in my mat again, my silicone mat. Get my star ready. Good. And then I'm going to take my star and my clear glue, and I'm just going to make sure it's coming out. And I'm just going to dab it in spots, always on every part. And the reason I'm doing it on the silicone mat is because when I pick this up, it's going to leave the excess glue on the mat there. You can't really see it, but it is there. I'm going to quickly flip that over. I star down. Flip this over and really press it down now. There, so we've got a nice green star. We're going to take it to another dimensional. We're going to pop it in the middle of the penny. Peel it off. I'm going to move it to the center just so it's easier to work with. Line your star up on the middle of the dimensional. Hopefully, there. Once it gets going, it will spin. Right? So that basically is the front of your card. And I'm just going to pop my sentiment inside. Make sure I've got the card the right way up. Put this inside. About 1/8 of an inch all the way around. There you go. Now we've got one little piece left, which is 5 1/4 by 1/2 inch, and you can put it just inside the card to finish the card off. I think I will. Of course, liquid adhesive for this is best. Should line up with the bottom of my card. So I have another card that I made this morning. This was my sample. So there we have another lovely card. That's the start of the Christmas season. That's how it's supposed to work. So we have this one in the soft succulent with a silver star, and this one in the cherry cobbler with a gold star. As always, these are my designs. If you want to use them, please feel free, copy them, watch the video, all the measurements. I think I've mentioned all the measurements in there, and everything that was used is in the video. If you're going to sell these cards, please use the Stampin' Up! Angel stamp, which just says all of these supplies are Stampin' Up! Supplies. So that's it for this week. Hope to see you again next week. Thanks for watching, people. Bye bye.